it's F-commerce. Have you all heard of F-commerce? Okay, what's really amazing to me is I've been kind of following for a while, and then when I did research, very little is available on it. I mean, there's very little on the internet if you Google it, but it's happening, and it's something that I think is an incredible tool, especially for small businesses. E-commerce, actually, just to give you a little, first I'm going to give you some history, then the pros and cons. I'm going to tell you 5 ways you can do F-commerce, and then I'm going to end with an example. So on history and the status, the first I almost said e-commerce. The first F-commerce was in 2009. Does anybody know what company first sold a product on Facebook? 1-800-Flowers. It was flower bouquets, and they've been doing it ever since very successfully. But still, it started in 2009, and now we're in 2012, so 3 years, and there's still only a very small percentage of retailers that actually transact on Facebook. A lot of people, a lot of the businesses trying to send their traffic to their website, which is different. So to actually we're talking about actually doing the transaction on Facebook. So when I did this research and looking at how it would apply, I was thinking of all the businesses and how it would apply. I realized that it's really in its infancy, but the great thing is in the last 6 months there have been a ton of new apps that have become available that are really, really easy to use. And this is going to be a tremendous asset for small businesses. So I have an infographic. Let's see if I can get it up here. And okay, so let me just a second. Bear with me just a moment. And the interesting thing too is, you know how popular infographics are. You see a lot of them these days. There's only been one done on F-commerce, and it's a year old. So this is a year old, but I thought it was really interesting to show the history. Can everybody read that? Because I can blow it up some more.
Yeah.
Okay, it's a nice little, I'm going to go ahead and sit down here to get out of the way. But it gives you a little history of Facebook as well. The birth of Facebook in 2004. It wasn't open up to everybody until, 2006. They launched the ability, businesses could do their brands in 2007. And there was that marketplace, which failed in 2007. First virtual gifts were in, so there were some attempts to get it going, and a lot of them failed in the early years. So that's what this is showing here. Then go up to July 2009. The first transaction was on Facebook as a gift order off of 1-800-Flowers. September 10. Target started selling gift cards. August 2010, Facebook started the check-ins to places. August 10th, I'm going to show you Delta Airlines. They launched a ticket window, which they still have operating. And so you can actually go on the Facebook page for Delta and order your airline tickets. And you stay on Facebook. You don't get shifted over to the Delta site, which is very interesting. Let's see what else is interesting.
Can I ask what the advantage of that would be, rather than just going to the site?
The advantage of
Staying on Facebook versus going to the Delta site.
Well, the advantage is that you are still part of the Facebook community, and so a lot of what you can do is add in shares, and there's apps that will, for the business, show what activity you are doing on that Facebook. So if you book your ticket, it will be shared on your timeline, and you haven't left, and so your Facebook friends can see what you're doing, and that gives Delta Airlines more publicity to see that because you're seeing your friend use Delta to do that. So and it's less time consuming too.
It keeps it social versus just private.
It keeps it social, yeah. That's a good way to put it. this F-Commerce by the Numbers, the most liked Facebook shop, Lady Gaga. She sells merchandise from CDs to Fame Monster USBs. There are 10,000 websites that integrate with Facebook every day. 10,000 is the number of Gap jeans given away, not sold, through Facebook Places. So it's just kind of some fun details. Now here's one, this is interesting. I might make it a little bit bigger. Okay, see this graph? E-commerce influencers. This is a year old, remember. Social networks, 5%. Yeah, it's surprising that that's so small. That's just going to be growing like crazy.
Yeah, exactly.
And here's the predicted social commerce growth starting in 2011 and going up to 2015. And look what a great percentage the U.S. has. But this is for commerce on the internet, total. And so the kind of the teaser question at the end of this infographic is what percent of this growth will be attributed to F-commerce? And I'm going to go out on a limb and say it's going to really increase. I think it's going to be a great tool. The pros and the cons. Oops. There's lots of pros and there's just a couple of cons, but the cons are kind of big. So, but the one pro, as I said earlier, was that your fan does not leave Facebook. So you're still interacting, you're still part of the community. And can you add on to that about why that's so important?
Well,
what difference it makes?
I mean, you guys may have experienced this when you land on a site and you're doing Facebook stuff. You don't really want to be directed out of Facebook and onto some other site. And
You
so
might have messages going on.
right. So if you kind of have a captive audience, you've got them to your page, your Facebook page. You want them to stay there and hang out and interact. Directing them out to your website is actually a detractor if you can close the sale right there on Facebook and they continue to interact.
That's
Even if
very
you direct
good
them to your
explanation.
blog,
Thank you.
it's not good to direct them to your blog?
Ideally, you would want them to stay wherever you captured them.
That would only
Perfect.
work if you happen to be online at the same time, so you can interact, right?
Well, as far as Facebook interaction, I'm talking about just the typical interactivity that you have with the page.
Oh, okay.
Commenting, posting, I
Okay.
just bought my tickets on delta.com, whatever that may be.
Mhm.
So then you're interacting with other people. And the big win for the commerce site is now they just
Yeah.
influenced your 200 friends
Mhm.
with your purchase on their site. They got that many impressions for basically no cost, other than what it takes to have their site up.
And a lot of times you see something on Facebook, and if you, by the time you go up to the website, you've got to hunt it down and do that. I mean, whereas if you could just click and buy,
Mhm.
I mean,
Yeah, simplicity, ease, less steps.
yeah.
This is when you're actually selling on Facebook. If you're promoting your blog, I agree.
Yeah.
I like to get directed to the blog
Yeah.
because you want to get as many business as possible on your blog.
Yeah.
So that it's a little different situation. Another pro is that you don't have to have a merchant account. So you know that if you set up your own website, you have to set up a merchant account, and it's expensive and time consuming and all that. So that you totally do away with that. As I said earlier, there are a bunch of apps, and one that I'm going to use as an example that have very, very easy to follow templates. And in fact, I think any of you could actually do it yourself, because I set up the whole thing, and I'm not a very technical person. I'm not like Mike, but I thought it was very easy, and that's a big selling point for it. So instead of, also you can have it instead of a website. So that would be much easier and cheaper than setting up your own website with all the design issues that you have and your URL, and there's quite a bit involved. A fifth thing is that when you sell something, you only pay when you sell. Okay, so it's not like you're paying to be advertised. It's totally free. and then let's say you sold a piece of jewelry for $100. It would depend on what your volume of sales is, but probably you would be paying 3%. I mean,